Why do we keep chasing emotionally unavailable people? We see the signs, we see the inconsistency and unpredictability, and yet we still want attention from the person who 1 minute makes us feel on a high and we feel amazing, and the next minute makes us feel like we're worthless and we really don't mean anything to them. The problem is that when someone makes us feel this way, we become addicted to the feeling of the high. And so regardless of how low the lows are, we keep chasing the next high. And so even though someone is very emotionally unavailable to us, we keep wanting them more and more. Now, why does this happen? In this week's video, I want to look at what it is that causes us to do this, and then what you can do to stop yourself from repeating these patterns and chasing someone who's really not going to make you feel fulfilled, make you feel good, and give you what you want at the end of the day. If you haven't been to my page, welcome. I'm Hamasa. I look at personal development as well as mental and emotional well-being and day-to-day issues. Do subscribe to my channel so that you're up to date with all my weekly content. This week's video is about people who are emotionally unavailable, and unfortunately for us, that's a lot of people around us. Guys, girls, mainly guys, are very emotionally unavailable. This stems down from a number of things. First of all, they probably haven't been growing up, or when they were a kid, their emotions haven't been validated. And so they just don't know how to deal with emotions. If you notice, most people only know how to be angry or happy. And that's mainly guys. If they feel upset or frustrated or overwhelmed or, any other emotion in between, they don't know how to describe that. So either they shut down or they lash out. So if it's a negative emotion, it's put down to anger and they push you out. So you actually don't know what's going on in their heads and why this is happening, and they're not willing to open up, discuss how they feel, discuss what they want, hear you out when you have issues, give you the time and the space to speak about what's bothering you. It's straight away defensive, it's pointing the fingers and all of that. So this tends to happen a lot. The problem here is that we seem to really want to chase people like this because there's a number of reasons. One of them is, I can change this person. I want to be the woman who makes this man look at life differently. Absolutely wrong. Waste of time. You cannot change anyone. No one changes for other people. People change because they want to change for themselves, because they choose to do that, because that's the good thing for them, not because my partner wants me to. And if they do make those changes, then it's probably temporary. And if you get them out of this scenario and put them in their natural habitat, they will go back exactly to what they know, because they're doing it to keep you around. If it's an ultimatum or something you've given them, it's temporary. They're doing it to keep the peace while they can. The minute they don't, they'll do exactly what they want. So that's why you cannot change anyone. People do change, but only if they choose to, and it comes from them. The idea, everything is their decision and choice to want to change. So that's one of the reasons that we keep chasing these people. The other reason is, like I said initially, is the high, is the reaction. Unfortunately, our brain is wired to want to know what happens next. What will something even happen? Is that unpredictability? Is that excitement? Is that constantly looking at your phone, and the minute you get that message from them, it's like boom, your day's made, your moods change, you're amazing, and you love that. So you constantly wanting this feeling is what makes you fall in a loop to chase it. Similarly is when you gamble. You know that you're losing and you know that your money is going, but what happens is the addiction of not knowing that, what if I win? What if something amazing comes along? You keep wasting more and more money and playing this because you're addicted. And so the addiction is what usually makes us confused with feelings of real love. Surely, if you wake up thinking about this person, you're sleeping thinking about this person, your days are consumed thinking about this person, thinking about messaging them, songs, movies, smells remind you of this person, then you of course must be in love, and this is the real deal, and you must be the one because you haven't felt like this before. Well, absolutely wrong. If only it was the case. What makes us feel this addicted isn't the same as what real love should be like. Or you're actually in a very toxic stage, because instead of actually being present and being aware of what's going on and the toxicity of the situation, you're blinded by this wanting this high and chasing it, and so you're not actually present in the moment or understanding what's going on and how much time you're wasting chasing this person that will never give you what you want. And unfortunately with that, some people who have an anxious attachment style tend to then actually see this for love, because they're actually wired that way from childhood and young to believe that love should feel unpredictable, it should be inconsistent, it should be hot and cold, because that's the only way they know love to be. This is how they've been socialized as kids. So people who have anxious attachment style naturally find this attractive and loving and think that that's how relationships should be, which is what's the danger of this kind of situation to be in. It's very confusing for us. The more time we spend thinking about this individual, investing in them, becoming obsessed with them, the more we're involved and knee deep in it, and it's harder for us to walk away. So then what happens? Then when you've invested so much time and effort into someone, you just don't want to throw it all out. You've wasted time and energy, which is one of the reasons that people end up staying in unhappy relationships, even though they know the relationship isn't right for them, they're unhappy, they could do better, they shouldn't stick around for this crap. They stick it out. Why? Because they've been together for 4-5 years, which means that if they throw all of this away now, look at how much time, money, and effort they've wasted, and then what? Start all over again? Which is exactly the reason why you shouldn't stick to relationships that are no longer fulfilling you or making you happy. Wasted time, like, make it make sense, the logic in that. If you've already wasted 5 years and you're going to continue wasting another 5 because you've wasted the first 5, then when you do end up walking away at some point, what have you wasted? A whole 10. So why don't you just stop, nip it in the bud at the 5? And this is why it's like when you're in a business that you're running and it's not making any profit and it's sinking, the more money you pump into it to try and keep it afloat, when you know that it's not going to pick back up, it's done, the more you're going to waste more investment, more time. So look at it that way. Instead of looking at it as wasted time, it's kind of you vetting and auditioning people. And so if that person wasn't right for you, then act on it when you know. Don't hope for the better. Don't think that you're going to change them, and don't think that, oh, I've wasted this much time already, let me continue wasting more. It makes absolutely no sense. Problem is that when we get rejected and someone doesn't give us what we want, then we feel like it becomes our mission to make this person see our worth and how amazing we are. Because rejection motivates you and gives you an incentive. So the more rejected we feel, the more we're like, oh no, they need to know who I am and how amazing I am, and I'm going to show them. And so it riles you up for more and motivates you to keep on going. And in the end, it just becomes a vicious cycle. And lastly, what you need to ask yourself if you continuously chase people who are emotionally unavailable is that a form of projection? When you're busy chasing someone who isn't emotionally available, then it kind of avoids you having to look into your issues and things that are bothering you and your traumas and your things that you need to deal with. Because if you're going to go after someone who's very emotionally healthy and fulfilled and present, then they're going to start asking you questions about things, and they're going to start challenging you, and you're going to have to face your traumas and things, because you may be the one who's the unhealthy, emotionally unavailable person when you're dealing with someone who's very wholesome and healthy. So you need to kind of think, am I doing this to avoid my own traumas and to face my own difficulties? Because I'm too busy chasing them. I'm too busy trying to, is the thought and the hopes of a loving, fulfilled relationship and being settled, not actually being happily fulfilled and settled, where then you have to face your demons. So is it also your subconscious mind kind of protecting you? And so you keep looking out for people who will not challenge you and question you. So all these things are factors that make us want to chase someone who we know, and in the end nothing's gonna come of it. But we just hope to change them, to make them see light and da. But really, we're shooting ourselves in the foot and wasting our own time. Now, what do you do to avoid this happening? First thing you need to do is make yourself aware of your situation. Understand that this is your pattern. Look at the people you've dated. Look at the people that you find attractive, you go for. And by finding attractive, I don't mean physically, I mean as a human being. And what is it that sticks out about them? And if you are in this pattern and you are aware of it, then understand that this is your doing and you need to change that. So then look at what is a healthy attachment style. Look at your own attachment style. See if you are one of those people who has an anxious attachment, then why do you have it? Fix that. Reteach yourself. Educate yourself on healthy attachment style and start practicing that and believing in it. Move yourself away with unhealthy patterns and people and situations that you know you've been in before and you know how you ended up. Understand that if nothing changes, then nothing will change. If I keep doing the same things, I will keep getting the same results. So I need to break this. And so when you're aware and you understand, start distancing yourself and start learning your attachment style and what's the healthy one to be in and why you do the things you do. Is it from the other person or is it from you? And once you start healing the root cause of the matter, then you will avoid having to deal with the consequences of it because, the foundation is clean. You have a clean slate to start from. And of course, if you ever need support and help in this situation, then it's something that you should ask. It's never easy healing old wounds and traumas. It's never easy changing your understanding and adapting your attachment style. So if you need some sort of guidance, some sort of support, someone to talk to, then do that. It's not easy getting through something like this alone when you don't have someone to talk to or someone who really understands and can be compassionate about the situation with you. So get the help you need. And finally, consciously choose healthy, happy situations and people. When you see that people have toxicity or they make you feel on edge and you see the pattern being triggered again and it's the inconsistency, then understand that you've been there before, you know how it ends, and you just need to remove yourself from this and you don't need to humor and tolerate it. It's not for you. You understand how it works and you choose different. I hope that you guys found this video helpful. I feel like nowadays in dating and what's going on in the world and people's attitudes and people's thoughts and views on marriage, settling, relationships, commitments have changed so much. They've come such a long way, but I don't even know if I could say that because I don't know if it's necessarily for the positive. But things are just not what they used to be. Dating and so on is a lot more harder and a lot of people are being more woke and working on themselves. So it's difficult to be or chase or want someone who isn't there on the same level as you or has an understanding or awareness of themselves, and they're just, lashing out and being inconsistent and hot and cold. And so their way of dealing with it isn't necessarily healthy. And if you are someone who's healthy, or if you are someone who keeps going for unhealthy types, then both is something that you need to look at. Is if I'm a healthy person, I'm not going to want to attract this kind of person in my life. And if I'm an unhealthy person, then what can I do to change it? Because of my unhealthiness, I keep attracting this kind of person into my life. And I need to change that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. In today's day and age and dating, everything is incredibly hard, much harder than what it used to be. So the more we're aware of ourselves and the people that we choose to date and spend our times with, the better and easier it is for us to navigate life and find someone that's suitable for us. It doesn't mean that every person we meet is going to be the one, but the quicker we are able to sift through the bullshit and pick wrong from right, right from wrong, the less headache and less heartache we'll have to deal with. If you have enjoyed this, please comment, like, and subscribe to my page and share it with someone who may need it. And I look forward to seeing you guys here again next week. Thank you so much for watching. Mwah.